Another match is about to begin here in Guildsource Arena. If you don't know us, nameplates are showing. A quick message to you good players out there: if you guys think these guys are chumps and the EP is strong with you and you can prove it, then odds are we'll want to cast you. So hit me up at my email shown in the description. You guys ready for this match? With your camera faces in there? I can see you. You're like a little light in there. Is that creepy?
I don't see.
Are you ready?
Oh, Jesus.
Are you ready?
I have a cake. I mean...
With that said...
in this match, we have Matchless and Jokers.
Yeah, and we're on Forest of Niflhel. We got the builds for Matchless's players, so check that out in the description. Double Elementalist on both sides.
Yeah.
Scepter Dagger, Dagger on both.
That seems to be a new trend that a lot of people are doing, just the double Elementalists.
Yeah.
On Joker's side, they have a kind of different build on a warrior that I haven't really seen before or seen a lot of. I definitely understand the shield sword, but the mace hatchet is quite different.
Yeah, so a quick note that we're not always going to see Elementalists, double Elementalists in the future, because that's changing a little bit, and especially when the balances hit, you're not going to be seeing that as much. People are now favoring more towards the like super squad style, quote unquote. That's like your build that people are like, oh my gosh, it's so good, let's go do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing less of that. We're seeing more support rather than the burst that you'll see from double Elementalist.
Yeah, I mean, the game's changing in general. We're not quite to a point where everything's standard anyways, so it's hard to even consider anything right now seriously when everything's just changing.
And of course, double Guardian on each side
Guardian
for
on
that
each
point
side.
defense. Your token Guardian for point defending.
And I'm really excited to see an Engineer.
And yes, the match is underway. You see 5 of Matchless here coming out of this one side of the base. And they run out of swiftness, but the good thing there's the MESMER line there for renewing that swiftness. I see one person going backwards on the map there towards the tunnel. He's obviously stalling them. That's what's going on there. He's actually stopping them from coming, so he must have had insight and saw that they were coming before they get the Svanir kill.
That's a fairly good tactic. I mean, if you can slow down their whole team and easily take that, that's great for your team in general.
I'm actually really impressed with that.
Yeah,
I like it.
Great idea.
So now these guys are committed to the combat, and they're going to try to down as much of Matchless as possible. Jokers, that is.
You know, I don't even know if they were committed to have that combat. If they saw they were getting
Maybe.
slowed down, they could have just... I mean, look at that. Keep's not even being contested
So he
yet.
couldn't get this stomp here because of that hammer, although he opted to use Mist Form to run away rather than to get that stomp. That definitely is something that he could have done, is gotten that stomp via that method. And we'll go with explain that in the replays after this match.
Matchless seems to be going to neutralize Henge.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so he's an engineer. He's a sustain engineer, so he's tough and he's got some utility skills to aid in that fashion. And so that's a good role for him. That's why he's doing that.
I love seeing like kind of the new role of Elementalist. Not new role, but I just didn't see it a lot before, of them going straight into combat. It works rather effective.
They don't get down as fast as you would expect. Like, yeah, they definitely have more sustain, especially if they hop to water and depending on how they build their traits.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive, and immediately getting away thinking stuff might be bad.
So yeah, it looks like that wasn't intended. He probably didn't have a target, and that's why the Ride the Lightning took him off the stage, and he ran back. I don't think that was his intention, and that's a cost of not having auto target. And so it looks like he's headed towards Henge, where we're seeing now this engineer is having trouble. That's probably good response. He probably was heading towards Henge, that Elementalist, because of this scene right here. And correct, here he is, arriving with Dagger burst.
Whew.
And there's already one person down. He's going to try to get the stomp there, and no, he will get knocked back. Was that from the sword?
No, I don't think that's from the sword.
Interesting. Because I thought that we just looked at the talents and it didn't do that. Okay, so the engineer's on the ropes, and he's going to try to run away. Look how close he is. Definitely, he's going to lay down his abilities, and he gets the rally from the stomp from the Elementalist here on the point.
What a good time on that rally, by the way. Just lucky.
Yeah, and well recovered from this point, because it was 3v2 all in all. So good job on this Matchless combat here. He laid down a big bomb there on the F1. Sorry, on the F3. So look at his utility skills. He's got the double sustain utility abilities with the rocket boots and the slick boots there.
Yeah.
And then he's got a bomb kit, so you're going to see him kiting with the bombs and then using those sustain abilities to keep him alive.
Very cool.
So it kind of seems to fit a role. I mean, he's always running, he's kiting, he's being on that point, and he's holding people off while help is able to arrive. Although they were getting down by the Jokers, Elementalist here, Dagger gets the stomp. Oh, and that Necro there, so Yeah, they just this is the suicide point.
Yeah,
it's like called.
Clearly they just want to go back to base. They don't want to delay the inevitable. They want to get back up and get back into combat.
So that can be considered harassment. Although they died there, look at the nodes. They've got 2 of 3, and the other one's neutral. So they did a good job to reserve those resources. So that was good harassment at that suicide node, which is closest to Joker's spawn. So that's why it's called that. I kind of like that terminology. I found that on a place. I'm like, it kind of makes sense.
Look at that. Just perfect timing on getting back to spawn here. He's back up.
Yeah, by the way, he just spawned. So
Yeah.
he knew he was coming. So he doesn't have the burst to get him down quickly. He already expended his fire burst there. And so hopefully no one comes to try to snipe it. We're seeing less and less of that, of course, with the point reduction on the boss mobs.
Yeah.
But still can happen.
I'm surprised to see sword spirit weapons, by the way. After just how good Hammer's been for quite some time.
There's probably a lag on the memo that, you know, that there's other builds that are good out there. You know, people saw it and they're like, oh my god, I gotta do it. Must have spirit weapons. All right, so then we're gonna see at mine here. The chieftain killed just with jokers. I just saw that, by the way. So this guy is he's trying to run away. He's not able to because of the root on the Guardian's ability and Signet of Earth on this Elementalist's part, and that was allowed Dragon Tooth to hit, and he's gonna finish it off. Looks like with the Phoenix, good targeting.
Yeah,
on
that
there.
was great, like pathing on his part, knowing where he was gonna go.
Just notice that lockdown there. He's using that Earth Signet of Earth to use that active ability to root and allow Dragon's Tooth to hit more consistently.
Yeah.
And here back at Keep, the Mesmer's here, and he's pulling out all those clones. Definitely adds that confusion and allows synergy with this burst of this Elementalist here.
And again, undefended, just going straight for the point at Henge, picking it up.
Yeah, so notice the harassment. Notice that they are definitely navigating well. They've got good visibility, and they're attacking in the right places.
If you take a look at the map, they are all at each of the points right now, making sure they have control of every point.
And it's manifesting with the node spread.
Yeah.
They've got 2. One's contested. It's a good position for them to be in. Definitely have a commanding lead due to their efforts. Very good job on their part.
Yeah, fantastic.
He was about to leave, but he wanted to be apprehensive,
Yep.
and for a good reason. This Elementalist fight here, this is Dagger versus Scepter Dagger. We're in the point of view from the Scepter Dagger. He uses Misform, didn't really capitalize so much on it necessarily. He's going to try to get some of those burst moves on there. Here comes Phoenix. It does land. He gets the triple hit on the Phoenix because it traveled past the enemy. It can get it to 3 hits, 2 on the navigation of the Phoenix, and 1 on the blast of it. Goes to heal. He's going to get the updraft. And he gets stunned a couple times. I'm interested in what that was.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure that out.
Going for the stomp.
Yeah, and goes for stomp, and he will get
There
that.
he goes.
He'll get the raffle stomp there. Yeah, we'll go over some of this stuff in the instant replays. I definitely want to look at some of this stuff.
Doesn't seem to be a lot happening at Keep right now, but there is a big fight going on here.
Yes, note the engineer is actually up there right now.
Yep.
And he goes for the stomp, tries to get someone before he himself goes down, wasn't able to get it. It is going to be obviously Joker's favor here, but that's because they're consuming a lot of resources there. Notice how much blue was there. So in any case, I'd say it's not a loss because they're, taking a lot of resources there.
Yeah, they're holding people back.
A rematch from the LEs here at Henge. He pulls out his Earth Elemental because he was in a lot of trouble from that Dagger burst, which I think we're going to go over after this fight as well, if you don't know what Dagger burst entails exactly. And he's going to pop Misform to allow him to get that heal because he is low health. Actually, he's not going to heal. He's just going to go for the kill. And he does go down. He's going to get that stomp for sure.
Engineer defending a Keep by himself against 2
people. So here he is.
This
was his job. His role was to be vigilant here. And he's getting more than he asked for sure. He's going to throw out some of his heals, live as long as he can. Will he survive?
He's doing a great job of kiting.
Of course. Rocket boots straight off the ledge.
Right off the edge.
Really good positioning there, and actually good tactical advantage use of that sort of terrain. The fact that there's a cliff there, and he just knocked himself right off.
Again, they get Sphani right at the end. Perfect timing.
Good point. And the end of the game.
Yeah, end of the game.
So, wow, not a close game as we're used to necessarily, but they can't always be close, and that's testament to Matchless's strength.
That was a perfect example of just point control and getting those Sphani and Chieftain, mainly Sphani, every time it was up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we're going to hit some replays and tactics of some of the cool things in this fight. So first, I'm going to go over Dagger burst and sort of the rotation. If you see him switching to fire attunement, that's what we're seeing there. And to follow is this chain of events. The first one's burning speed. It's a rush and an explosion. Extremely hard hitting, but hard to aim. So if you see them about to do that, switching to fire, know that this may come afterwards. Arcane Blast comes afterwards. Single target arcane move, hits for about 2k, it's really good. And to follow is Arcane Wave, which is not only AoE, but it also procs Area Might almost every time because of the fire trail that's around there. And that's 3 stacks of might sitting there on the boons of this player, and it does a pretty good amount of damage. And the next thing that should come normally is Fire Grip, but he's going to get the stomp here, so he's not going to use that move. Fire Grip is a cone AoE in front of the person, which does more damage if it's burning, which can be capitalized upon with the Elemental Surge trait with those, which gives fire, when in fire attunement, it applies burning to the targets of your arcane moves there. It'll allow for the fire grab to do more damage based on that burning on the victim. And then of course, this is another trait you also will see, is if they have Arcane Mastery, it's less cooldown on those arcane abilities because they're actually so powerful in this current build. And here we're going to show the Mistborn stomp that could have happened. So at this point, what do? Case study. You can either try to get that Mistform stomp or you can use it to run away. Honestly, you're going to be susceptible after you stomp, but at least you'll get that stomp. So here's him using it to evade. Not necessarily a bad choice, but definitely one that can be considered. And here we're going to see this engineer typing in this field, and I didn't know what he was typing, 1130 spawn, but that's actually the call out, using the game's timer as a metric for calling out that, and which is a good way to record.
Yeah, clearly that's how they were doing so good on getting spawn here every time it came up.
Yeah, so just something to think about, food for thought. And here we're going to see that stun, not once, but twice. And I looked into it, and that is because of a talent on the Grandmaster side. It's the number 3 talent on the air tree for Elemental. It's called Tempest Defense, which enables Shocking Aura, which is a dagger move on the 3 in air attunement, which automatically activates when you get disabled of any sort of kind. And so you're going to see that boon right there sitting on the enemy, and then you're going to see the condition on this point of view that we're currently looking at. And back to that engineer, here we go. So we're going to see what he does exactly to live the way he did. We're going to activate Super Speed and Slick Shoes. Super Speed lasts for 5 seconds, so he's going to activate that first and then activate Slick Shoes afterwards because it only lasts for a little bit. The knockdown only lasts for, looks like oil slick duration 1 second, so you have to time it perfect. And so here we go. And it's going to get not 1, 2, but 3 people, knock them all down their Eaton tile. And of course, reposition for the rocket boots.
That was a really good escape, by the way.
And for you guys' viewing pleasure, here's an image that I found where it looks like Isabeau and I are sort of receiving some favors under the table. It's hilarious. Alright, thank you for watching. If you want more videos like this to be made and you appreciate it, then the best way to show us is by subscribing or sharing these videos, because we notice every time and it really helps us to produce these videos further. Which brings me to my last thing. Thank you for all the subs. We got 3,000 just a little bit ago.
So such a big deal, like for us in general.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a great milestone. We've only been open for like 2 months. So I'm probably, you know what, I'm going to do an episode on this. I'm going to just address you guys, tell you guys what we're going to be doing in the future. Like what's the future of Guildsource, what server we're going to be on if you're interested. Probably do a giveaway because, you know, that's just, I feel like it's a good time to do that, and I think it'd be fun as a way of sort of thanking you guys. And there's a lot of other stuff I want to hit, so I will see you guys then.
Later.